Hey, hey guys, happy Friday. Hope everybody had a great week. We had a great week so far, and I'm hoping to have another great week coming up. If anybody out there is struggling, please feel free to give us a call in at 267-737-8031, or you can always add it into the chat if you are able to type in on the chat box. We are here, we're listening, we're watching the
chat box.
Well,
Oh,
well, Pappy and
like
I
cat box.
are watching the.
So, gang, we got a guest tonight. We got the lovely Christine
Yes.
Hey, folks.
It is Women's Month.
sitting there with the cat box.
Yes. I said
Another
chat
word for
box.
that,
We are celebrating the month of the woman. So tonight we do have Christine Day with us, and we have a whole month lined up of women.
I'm
strong
identifying as a
women.
woman tonight, just for the record.
Looking mighty fine.
Thank you, thank you.
Hey,
Had the
Kathleen.
Sinead O'Connor.
Hey, Eric. So we're just hanging out, and you know us. If you're struggling for any reason, just need some support, please either give us a call in, or you can pop it into the chat, and we will answer the box the chat as we see it. Christine, we will let her know because apparently she can't see it. So we will
She
let
has
her
her driving
know.
glasses. She didn't bring her reading glasses.
So
And speaking of support, Larry, I need my Buster Crab T-shirt back for the dance.
yeah.
Bought it. He hasn't given it back.
Yes. And that is coming up. Next Saturday is the dance. Finally here. I'm going to be busy this week getting things together for that. And Sunday, if you want a ticket, you need to hit me up on Saturday. The count's going in Sunday night. So if you want a last minute ticket, there's not many left.
Right,
So
our hot potatoes, baby.
you have to let me know tonight.
Luckily, you
mine.
all know a guy.
Yes. It is $35 a person. Food, dancing, fun, just, it's a great time. So if you haven't been there, it is a sober dinner dance. DJ Pappy P will be in the house.
That's right, live and in the flesh, people.
Yes. So,
Larry will be working a kissing booth as usual.
Sign me up.
only if you play his music list.
He's ready. He had a bunch of dental work done last month and all. He
Yeah.
got his gingivitis under control and stuff and everything else. He handed out chapsticks.
So we will be here next Friday, the night before the dance, and hopefully I'll have everything that I need to get done. Hopefully I'll have that done tomorrow. But
Done.
looking
That was what I
forward
was
to
gonna
it.
say, but
Dun,
yeah.
dun, dun, dun.
It is. I'm looking forward to it. It is a great time if you've never been there. Bring your own lipstick. bring your own lipstick. I think you meant bring on your lipstick. But
I think that was done. Bring your own lipstick.
bring your own lipstick. But it's going to be a good time.
We'll play some of your songs, Larry.
Next year we're going to
Too
go.
many people get scared.
Right. And we do have another dance coming up in July.
Well, let's get through this one.
And
Promoting the next one already. Oh my goodness.
yes. So looking forward to it. It's always a great time. We always have fun. It always helps somebody in recovery. So, that's what it's about. And tonight we're just gonna Christine's going to share a little bit of information with you. She's going to share her experience, strength, and hope with you all. And if you have any questions for her, please, like you said, call in or hit the chat box, and I will let her know what you're saying.
If I squint, I can see up there.
But
I'm just going to sit in the background here and be quiet because it is Ladies' Month, and I'm just going to leave you ladies just
I'm sure you'll
talk amongst
interject
yourselves.
as
Talk amongst
necessary.
yourselves.
yes, and I'm having a hair day, so
I thought
bear
you were
with me.
great.
Oh well, thanks.
Yeah.
So here we are, Christine.
Hey,
Hey.
nice to be here. Hey, everybody. I'm used to sitting in my kitchen in my jammies, so this is a different, I'm on this side of the fence tonight.
I normally don't wear pants. I only wore them tonight because you were coming. Like,
You could have left well enough alone.
you don't know. See this console. You don't know what's going on under here. I'm usually pantless.
But, yeah, it's good to be here, Thanks for asking me. Nerves are hitting high, I'm not a fan of sharing. I get super nervous, even not just sharing my experience, strength, and hope, but just at a meeting, just to raising my hand, immediately my heart starts pounding, But I was told to get my hand up at meetings, and I do it, and I'm still uncomfortable, But
Right. Getting
it helps.
comfortable being
Yeah.
You know, uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
One of them
exactly.
sayings, folks.
Yeah.
Another one of them sayings.
There you go. But I grew up in a great family. You know what I mean? I'm the youngest of 7. My oldest sister is 83, so there's a big
Wow,
drop.
yeah.
Yeah. But I grew up with my sister who's 2 years older than me, and my brother 4 years older than me, and we had a great life. You know what I mean? I went to Catholic grade school, public high school, and I started drinking and drugging before I even smoked pot. Kind of did it backwards. That alcohol and drugs were the gateway to pot for me.
Right.
But
There's my whole theory. Right out the
sorry,
window.
Pat. I'm
Right out
sorry.
the window.
I'm just the odd man out. But But I went to school. Not the best of students, but graduated 12th grade. But there was a lot of stuff in between that. I apologize. I'll be stumbling here.
Relax.
I know.
we're all at
Amongst
home here.
friends, But Yeah, I started drinking and doing other, I can say drugs, because I'm so used to saying other forms of alcohol in AA,
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
But in like 7th grade, you know what I mean? It was like an every weekend type thing. My girlfriend's parents would go out on Saturday nights and we would raid the liquor cabinet and literally just pour anything from every bottle into like a jar and just drink it straight, you know? And that was kind of like a weekend gig. And so we started doing other stuff, you know, and, you know, but that was like just start off on the weekends, really, you know?
Right.
And then as I got older in high school and stuff like that, you know, you're partying more. Your friends, you know, were hanging on the corner. You hung in the corners back then, you know,
Yeah.
in the 70s,
on
you
the
know.
corner. I was on the
So,
corner.
yep,
I was a corner girl.
yep, yep. And that was what we did, you know what I mean? It was just a lot of, you know, a lot of partying, a lot of stuff going on, you know. And you know, I got married when I was 21. Wasn't pregnant. A lot of people, you know, were like, they couldn't
Right.
believe, you know, they couldn't believe that I was getting married so young. But we got married, and you know, my husband's not in the program. You know, he's not an alcoholic. He's been putting up with one for 41 years. You know what I mean? So you know, one
He's
of
a
the
normie. We call them
yeah,
normies.
he's a
Yeah,
normie.
normie.
You know, so you know, I'm one of the lucky ones that he's been sticking with me. You know, all this time. You know, and now, like in sobriety, he's getting on my nerves. And I'm thinking, like, who the hell do I think I am? You know, you know what I mean? He's been, like, standing by my side, putting up with my bullshit, you know, and I have nerve to get mad at him. But, yeah, he's a great guy, you know. But, like, right out of the gate, I drank to get drunk, you know. There was, you know, and basically that's my whole drinking career. There really was no other reason for me to drink, you know,
Right.
other than
Just to hang
catch a
out.
buzz and get drunk on it, you know.
Yep.
But, you know, I did that for years, you know, and, you know, I didn't have any aspirations of going to college, you know, it just wasn't my bag, you know, so I just started working out of high school, and then after I was married, you know, we were married for like 10 years before we had kids, you know, so that was just like, I just feel like we moved in, put our stuff in the closet, and I went to the bar for 10 years, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because I had my first daughter after we were married for 10 years, so I was like 31, you know. So there was a lot of stuff going on in those 10 years, you know. And we had a lot of fun, you know what I mean? But, you know, it also, you know, it was a lot of calling out of work and stuff like that, you know what I mean? As I got as I got older, you know, I never called out. You
Right.
just learn to, you know, wake up and deal with it, you know.
Right.
You had to work
know.
for yourself. I haven't had a sick day in 15 years.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm the wellest person in the world. man.
Yeah, yeah.
It's amazing when you work for yourself how healthy you are.
Yeah.
Right?
And I don't drink anymore. I don't need. I don't have to
Yeah,
call
you
out
don't
for
have to
all my
call out,
hangovers.
yeah.
And
Can't
that's
get
good
Lori to
stuff.
call you out, you know?
I call her. She's my control. Yeah, I'm not coming in. She goes,
She'll tell you ain't
get in
calling
the shower.
out.
You're going to work.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, you just learn to deal with it, you know. So, you know, just a lot of stuff. And I had my first daughter, like I said, you know, and you know, when the kids were little, I mean, I was a stay-at-home mom, so I just was a home drinker, you know. I didn't get out of the house much, but when I got out of the house, I couldn't get out of the bar. You know what I mean? I'd be like the old, you know, telling my husband I'll be home in an hour or two, and you know, next thing you know, he's banging at the bar door at 3 a.m. You know, I come out, the car is right in front of, you know, in front of the door of the sidewalk because he's got the kids in there. You know what I mean? And just escorting me out, and I would be furious, you know, and you know, then the whole next day, I would just be in bed, and I still remember my kids making me get well cards. You know what I mean? They were like really
Oh,
little, and like
God.
here I'm just freaking hungover, and you know,
They're
and
getting
they're
good
making
well cards.
yeah,
It's
you
like
know,
a real
daddy's
piece
held
of
and mommy's
crap.
up there sick, you know, but you know, so as my kids got older and got, you know, got more wind of what's going on, you know, they have the DARE program in school, you know what I mean? So they knew, you know, they knew mommy was a drunk, you know, and so, you know, they were on my case for a long time, and you know, right up to teenagers, and it was just such fighting in the house, you know what I mean? They'd get on my husband for you know, for my being drunk, and then they're, you know, just massive family fights, you know, and I hated the chaos, yet I created the chaos, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
you
And
were
it's
well
just
aware.
like, man, you know, and just So that's what I haven't got to the point in the promises yet where they said you shall not regret the past, because I have a lot of regret, because my girls have real high anxiety. I mean, my oldest daughter's 31, my youngest is 28 now, and they have a lot of anxiety and stuff just from growing up with me, I guess, but they're not alcoholics. They can drink, and it's funny because with you talking about the dance, my daughter had a surprise party for her husband's 30th birthday a couple months ago. And, she's drinking with her friends and everything, having a good time, and as well she can, you know what I mean?
Right.
And, she pulls me up, come on, Mom, dance with me. I couldn't even, I was so uncomfortable dancing
Right.
sober. I've never danced sober. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right.
And I literally couldn't. I tried for a couple minutes, and I was feeling so stupid and awkward. And I'm like, Cara, I'm good. You know what I mean? I said, yeah. So now it's just like, I have to. And I didn't dance. I didn't dance at the last dance we were at, but just because I just didn't. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I have to try. But that's funny though. Like, that I couldn't dance sober because I'm not.
Right.
You're
You're
not used to it.
And I I get very relaxed and comfortable on the dance floor if I've had a few drinks.
Yeah.
But I'm usually pretty busy with the dance, so I do get out there and I just I don't care,
Yeah.
It's funny how so many of us equate drinking with everyday activities. Like some people that are just getting into sobriety can't sit and watch sporting events with their friends because they've always had alcohol involved with
Right.
it. It just feels awkward for them
Yeah,
all, as weird
yeah.
as that sounds. And we just got to train ourselves. It's
Yeah.
a new normal.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
exactly.
that's what's so amazing. The dance, you see the dance, how packed
Yeah.
it is, how everybody's
Insane.
having a blast.
Yeah, yeah.
And everybody in that room, just about everybody, is in recovery.
Yeah.
And it's like even
It's-
the people from Georgine's were amazed. We told the story many
Yeah, I've
times.
heard it. Yeah.
How much fun,
Yeah.
people are having up there.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool, and obviously I'll get over that.
It's a
you know what I
learning
mean?
curve.
But yeah, but anyway, so just a lot of chaos, a lot of stuff, and I'm drinking in the morning now. So now I got in 2016. I was caught drinking I was drunk when I went to work. You know what I mean? And so my boss, who I feel was an alcoholic, but I've come to learn that's none of my business. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have been
Right, right.
drinking before work. There you have it. So I was approached about it, but he did give me a second chance.
And being an airline pilot, I mean, you don't usually get a second chance.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I was fortunate. But anyway, he gave me a second chance, and, and then, I wound up going to rehab, and it wasn't for him, it was my family. You know what I mean? Everyone at this point was just so on me, and I'm just, at this point, I'm drunk, driving everywhere I go. I mean, that's been going on for years, right? So, I went to rehab, I was invited to go, much to my dismay. I had no intentions of going, but I finally, I went. And it's one of those things where you hear, I probably went to shut up my family, you know what I mean? But
sure.
it's just I definitely did. I knew I had a problem. I literally knew I had a problem for years and years, but I thought I was handling it,
Right.
Sure.
And, there's just no handling it. And alcohol, if you're an alcoholic,
Right.
But,
it's everybody else around me that are idiots.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So I went to rehab in 2016. I went through, the detox. I went to the rehab, but my insurance at the time would only allow me 2 weeks in. So then I had to go every day, get the urine test and the breathalyzer, and stay for the day, but then go home at night. And I was thinking about that on my way here. I don't recall if it was hard going home. You know what I mean? I don't
Right.
remember.
Right.
But. Anyway, I came out. I got 2 months, and I did not go to. I didn't get a sponsor. I visited AA. I went to maybe a meeting or two, and didn't work out any steps, obviously, since I didn't have a sponsor. And Thanksgiving of 2016 took me out at Acme because the alcohol was. They started selling alcohol at the food stores.
Right.
And I can remember the fear that I had in that line because the food stores, they still may have separate lines for if alcohol
Right.
versus, and I remember just being so paranoid, looking around thinking I was going to see somebody I knew or whatever, and And I'm going to tell you the relief I felt when I walked out of there and got in my car knowing that I had alcohol. So, you know, I went ahead and drank all that, ruined Thanksgiving, you know, and just went on to drink, you know, for years after that, you know. And there was one time before I got sober, about a year or so before I got sober, I quit for a month. And I don't really know how I did it. I just did it, you know. And I was so proud of myself. But I couldn't tell anybody because I wasn't supposed to be drinking. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it was just
Right.
like, you know.
Right.
But,
Damn.
but yeah, I was like, shit, man. But when that month was over, I'm like, all right, I know I can do this now. And went off and drank and then couldn't stop. You know what I mean? So I went to RCA in August of 2020. Once again, you know, I'm thinking I'm just going for detox, which actually I forced my way out of there with my husband. I said, I'm not staying. Because when I went to Living Grid in 2016, and I only thought I was going for detox. And he said, when I called to say I'm ready to come home, he said, no, you know, you got to stay. You know, I had a fit because I didn't have any clothes, this and that. And I said, you better bring me this. You know, I was furious, you know. But anyway, so when I went in 2020, I was at RCA for a week. And while I was in there, I thought for sure I knew I had alcohol at home, you know. And I mentioned that to some girl I was friends with there. And she said, you know, you better call your husband and tell him that. And hell no, you know. I knew I wasn't going to do that, so therefore I wasn't ready yet. You know what I mean? So I came out of RCA and I drank the day I came home and drank clear through. You know, and it's true, like, you know, it just gets worse and worse and worse, you know.
Right.
And, you know, I had switched, I would drink anything. But there was periods where I would drink, you know, I used to drink Jack Daniels when I was in, you know, my 20s, Jack and water. Then I went through wine spritzers, which, don't ask me the spritzer thing, you know what I mean? But it was just like you could drink a lot more because it was
Exactly.
mixed with, you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
With spritzer.
But, yeah, with spritz, yeah. But then, you know, then I just went on to, you know, so, you know, toward the end of my drinking, I was drinking vodka. And I had told you this before because I had to switch to airport bottles because I was constantly getting checked. My pocketbook, my car, like everything was getting, you know, checked. So I was switching. I would buy airport bottles of vodka by the dozens, and I would wear like shapewear, you know what I mean? And I would stick it all around my body and to get it in the house, you know, and then it would go under my mattress. And all night I'm up there getting, you know, it's like I was building up some muscles in this arm, you know?
You got a fluff of my pillow.
Yeah. But the thing was, the next day I had to get it out of the house and throw it
jeez.
out. So it was like such a chore, you know what I mean?
Right.
It really
Yeah.
was a chore. And, you know, I'm upstairs all night, and my girls are out of the house by this point, you know, but still, they would call me at night, and they knew immediately. I'm thinking I sound perfect, you know what I mean? And
Right.
my daughter, all I had to say was hi, and she knew, you
Right.
know, I was drunk. So it was still, you know, just a lot of anxiety and just, you know, it's
And
a
it
lot
had
of work
to been
it's-
expensive buying them.
It was,
little
exactly,
bottles.
you know?
And you know my story about the vodka. I was told by the
Yes.
professor, and people
It-
don't believe that. Why
it's-
so many people gravitate to it because it gets you where you need to be the most effectively. It's
Yeah.
straight ethanol. I mean, it gets you where you need to be to feel well.
And you think it doesn't have like a
Then the-
alcohol like
it
whiskey would
smells.
smell, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
the
yeah, it
misnomer.
would.
Right?
And-
Because it don't smell.
Yeah, but and like I was just drinking it straight, like hot, straight out of the bottle. You
Right.
know what I mean? And it's funny because the other day I had heartburn or whatever you call it that's in your throat. And it took me back to thinking, like, wow, because I would feel that all the time. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like just hot
Right.
vodka going down, you know, and you know, I started spitting up blood and stuff like that, you know, and I forgot to mention that I did wind up losing that job that my boss had given me a second chance because I was drinking in work, drinking before work, and he just, you know, I lost that job after 12 years, you know. So then I went on and I got a new job, and once I was comfortable there, I'm drinking in the bathroom there too, you know what I mean? And I'm drinking my boss's alcohol because I saw he had some, and you know, it's just like the insanity of it all, you know what I
Right.
mean? And so anyway, I drank from August of 2020 when I went to detox, and then in December of 2020, December 6th, 15th actually, I went to Living Grin, and I was there for the month. So I was there Christmas and New Year's, and you know, and I remember I was so upset on Christmas Day that I wasn't home, you know, and
Right.
And my family was like, "This is the best gift you can give us. Get sober."
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so I stayed, and my counselor had asked me if I had a sponsor or anything like that, and I said no. So she hooked me up actually with the Alumni Association, and actually John had given me some numbers, and I called I just there was 3 people on there, and I still have that paper because I wonder who these other 2 girls are actually. But I just wound up calling this one girl, and I came out of there with a sponsor, and so now it's COVID, right? So
Right.
it's like Zoom, you know what I mean? Because there's nothing really open. So she hooked me up with this meeting that she was on, and I did 120 Zoom meetings in 120 days, and and she would be texting me during that meeting saying, hand, and I just saw her recently. I was like, it's because of you because I have a different sponsor now. We're still good friends, but I just moved on to someone different.
Right.
But I thanked her for that because, like I said, I still don't like getting my hand up, but I do
Right.
it because I know that it's something I
Right.
need to do.
And it is, and it's weird because even on the family side, when we have to figure out that we need to get the help, just as difficult as it is for you, walking into a group of people that are going through the same thing that you're going through, you don't think that they're going to judge me when I walk in the door. They're going to be looking at me like, oh, you have, an addict in your life. And our minds just are so screwy that we forget that they're there for the same
Exactly.
purpose and the same
Yep.
reason.
Yep.
And our
Exactly.
stories are the same.
Yeah.
The characters are different, and the drug of choice is different, and some of the consequences are different, but we're still all there dealing with the
Yep,
same story.
Exactly. Because when I went to, in rehab in 2020, and I said, like, I visited AA, which, I went to a couple meetings, but I literally was like, oh my gosh, I can't relate to that. I can't relate to that. This didn't happen to me. And you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I left there being like, I have no idea that, what's going on. I don't need this. Now, in sobriety, I can relate to everybody's story.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's just
Ain't
like,
that the
wow,
truth,
man,
yeah.
it's just crazy.
Yeah.
But so before I got sober, I was starting to really fear, for myself because, like I said, I'm spitting up blood now. I have like so many different aches and pains, and I can't go anywhere without a drink. You know what I mean? So like I said, I was a home drinker. I didn't really get to the bars after I had kids, but I would stop on the way home from work every single night. I work in Jersey, so like Roger Wilco was like one of my main things. So even now you can't get across the bridge without passing it. Maybe
Exactly.
the back road.
I was
Yeah.
18 out there like every other day.
Yeah,
It was
right.
the drinking
Yeah,
age back then was 18.
exactly. It was, but
Rite of
yeah,
passage.
I have a funny story about the drinking age at 18 too, right? So I could go over and drink when I was 18, and I couldn't find my birth certificate. I didn't drive, so I didn't have a license, right? So I show up at the bar with the big one that has your feet prints on it.
I remember
I
that.
swear to God.
I worked in the nightclub scene. I'm like, hey guys, does this look legit? And they're like,
Maybe it was me.
it might have been. I'm going to have to
Oh
see
my
your
God,
sole of your
yeah.
foot match it up to that. And they're like, you're kidding me. Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, that's funny. Yeah, it's so embarrassing when you think of it. But hey, I got in,
Yeah.
But anyway, why did I say that? I forget what we were just talking
About
about.
18, Jerry Roger Wilco.
Oh yeah, exactly right. So, I would go to Wilco every single night. You know what I mean? So it was like I always, as soon as you wake up, you start thinking about how much I have.
Right.
Is it enough to get me through the day or whatever? In work, I can't wait to get out of work because I know I got to get to the state store. You know what I mean? And it's just a constant. So it was hard being an alcoholic during COVID. Honestly,
Oh.
I mean, the lines were insane.
Right.
Pennsylvania closed down, and so I was
Right.
in Jersey, so I had that going for me. But I had to wait in like an hour and a half line, and my family's expecting me home now, and I was so scared if my phone would ring. So I would tell them that I was working late because they don't call me at work. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but it was like such a chore. It was such a a process, man. Just trying to get the next drink, and And I did get the next drink, you know,
Right.
and you know, and the same thing over and over and over again, you know, and you know, I was like a parking lot
Insanity.
drinker. It was
Yep.
insanity, you know. I mean, I before I went home, I'd stop in Rite Aid's parking lot. There was a Rite Aid near my house. I'd stop in there and suck down a couple bottles before I got home, you know, and then get home and then finish what I had. And but I always would save, like, you know, try to, you know, save like one or two little bottles for the morning just to get me going. And you know, I'd wake up in the middle of the night to pee, and I know I have it. Next thing you know, I'm drinking it and then going to bed. And then in the morning, I'm pissed off because I'm like, why did I drink it then? I need it now. You know what I mean? It's just
Right.
like crazy. So sometimes, you know, I would just make up an excuse why I'm going to be late for work because I'd had to wait for Wilco to open at, you know, 8 or 9 in the morning, whatever it was. I had to be in at 8, you know, and it's just such a vicious cycle, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I would be drinking in TJ Maxx's dressing room, Macy's dressing room, because I can't get through the trip without, you know,
Right,
it's like 'cause as
exactly.
long as I knew I had it, I had to drink it.
Right.
You know, there was no saving alcohol. You know.
No. And it's weird because really until I heard your story at our family group, you know, I always thought that people would just like go in and, you know, grab a bottle, but you know, every now and again you come out into a parking lot and you're seeing these little airport
I
bottles
do. Yeah.
everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until you shared your story like, wow, that's like,
Mhm.
and I've been noticing too in the stores like Walmart and Target, like I'll be walking and you see these little airport bottles just in like the mugs, the coffee mug
Mhm.
display,
Mhm.
and
It's
I'm
crazy,
just like
isn't it? Yeah.
that. It's
I know.
it's crazy
It
how it grasps you and holds you down
Yep.
for so
Yeah.
long.
Exactly. I mean, I remember when my daughter was 15, she was in CHOP because she has Crohn's disease, so she was, you know, had a flare up or whatever, and I had a bottle in the trunk, and I couldn't make up enough excuses to keep running it. Do you want anything from the vending machine? Do you want this? Like, I was down and back there, like, you know, and I'm thinking, my God, my daughter's laying in a hospital bed, and I'm in the trunk of my car in the parking lot sucking down, and you know, and it's just crazy, you know. And my mother's funeral, you know, I'm drunk. It's just a lot of embarrassing moments, just a lot of embarrassing moments.
Right.
So I am fortunate that my boss that I currently have, I went to rehab twice on him. I went in August of 20 for the week, and that week that I went there, by the way, I was just on a week's vacation. My husband and I were away, and the night we came home, I drank so much. I couldn't even move the next day. Now, like I told you, I never called out. You know, you're older,
Right.
you deal with it. You know what I mean? I just dealt with
Right.
it.
You
You know, you
just-
just wake up and start drinking again. That's what my life was.
Right.
But that's how sick I was. I couldn't move. And I had to ask my husband, actually, what happened that day, why I wound up going to rehab, because I really didn't remember. And he reminded me that then it was coming back, like, wow, you know.
The
And,
hair of the dog.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he said to me, you know, don't move your car, because he had to go to work that day, and he said, don't move your car. I want. So I had to get to the state store, which was not near me, and in my neighborhood, I live in the city, like, you know, if you move your car, you're losing your spot.
Right,
You know?
exactly.
And I was so worried about not getting my spot, and then him knowing that I moved, which is so crazy now. I mean, I could have just said I had to go to get bread or whatever the heck,
Right.
you know. But knew what I was moving it for, so I walked, and it was probably like a good 25 blocks. I walked and got to the state store, and I didn't mind the walk home though. You know what I mean?
Right, it was
But
nice and
but see, I was so sick I couldn't move in the morning, and now in the afternoon I'm drunk. You know what I mean?
Right.
And just so drunk again. So you know, that's when I again said I would go. You know, went to Living Green in 2020, but it's just crazy. You know what I mean? It's just insane. You know, but the thing is now with the hope of it all is that I cannot believe I had 2 years in December of
Awesome.
16. You know what I mean? Because I couldn't get a day,
right.
let alone, you know, 2 years, and I'm still in awe of it. I'm still in awe. You know, I go to meetings a couple nights a week. I have a sponsor. You know, and I'm going to tell you, sometimes I don't feel like doing this shit. I really
And
don't.
you
You know?
And you know what? There are some days you just want to just lay on the couch and do nothing.
Hmm. Yeah.
'Cause I
you
know when my loved one was first going through it, like every night it was just like, you know, get up, take them to work, come back, go to either IOP, drop them off at a meeting, you know, and I'm like, can't we just go to the movies or something? Just like, why do we have to keep, and because I wasn't educated, I didn't realize, even though I went to the educational, Day of Enlightenment, you know, it's draining because like life is happening, plus you have to add your recovery into your daily life. And then it's just like you never get a break. Like, and I remember one night, we both fell asleep watching TV in between meetings, and we missed them. And I was just like, oh my gosh, you're going to, like,
Yeah.
it just, the panic.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just so weird.
You know? And it's like, you know, because, after, like you said, like, after working all day, you know, and I come home, I'm just like, I don't feel like running out. But you know what? I have to, because it is what keeps me sober. You know, I've heard too many times people say that they've relapsed, they stopped going to meetings, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I hear that often.
Yeah.
you know, so if I don't feel like going, that's even more that I need to get there, you know. And I joke and I say my husband saw me more when I was drinking, because now it's like, I'm like, hey, I'm home, you know, get a pizza, I'm out, you know.
Right, exactly.
He saw more of me, you know, but he's fine with that, you know, he's fine with it. And you know, my one daughter has 2 kids, she's about to have her third in 2 weeks, and I dropped my work schedule down, you know, when her first little guy, who's 3, I dropped my schedule down to work 3 days and watch him for 2 days.
Right.
And I was drinking actively when he was born, you know. So now I'm drinking with an infant, you know. And I would go up her house, and she was working from home, and you know, she said to me, "Man, you know, Mom, you smell. Were you drinking? You know?" No. She said, "Was that from last night?" "Yes, it's from last night." So I owned up that I was drinking the night before, but
Right.
not that I was sucking it down on the way to her house.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And you know, so then I got sober when he was just a couple months old, and so now, you know, the trust that I'm gaining back is immense, you know, because really my girls did not trust me at all. And like, you know, it was a shame because they really blamed my husband for a lot of stuff, you know, and
For
he tried his
enabling.
hardest. He really
Enabling.
tried, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? But
Enabling,
you know,
covering up.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. You know, and sometimes I think I had the wool pulled over his eyes, but sometimes I think he just turned a blind eye because he didn't know what the hell to do. You know
Right.
what I mean?
And you do. You, like, I'm not educated, so I don't know how to help.
Exactly.
I'm not educated, so I don't know what I need to do for myself. So these are just,
It's very common. We come
Yeah.
upon that with people a lot, like where the cycle just continues on like forever.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
20, 30 years sometimes, you know, and people,
Yeah.
they just, that becomes your normal, and they just accept it because they're afraid it might get worse. If they try to change, they don't know what to do, like you said.
Yeah. Exactly.
So life
you
just
know?
goes on, and
Yeah.
that's why the saying is nothing changes if nothing changes.
Exactly.
And sometimes people, you know, they just accept that as their new normal, and they don't want to make it
Yeah.
any worse, so they're afraid to make a move.
Yeah, we were like living separate lives almost. You know what I mean? Like I was telling you guys, he has a music studio, you know, down the basement, and he would just be down the basement all night, and I'd be upstairs drinking all night. Maybe that was his solace, just to get the hell away from me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you know, and now it's funny because, like, you know, now we do everything together, which hence they're getting on my nerves sometimes. But now, like, you know, he'll be like, "What do you want to do?" And before it was always like we never did anything together because I needed to get out and get my
Right.
alcohol and then go shopping and drink and stuff. You know what I mean? So
Right.
now it's kind of like, you know, but every now and then it's really weird though because, you know, like I said, on the way home from work, I would always stop and have to have a few drinks in the car, you know, in the
Right.
parking lot or whatever before I came home even. And now sometimes it's weird if I come straight home. And there's a part in my head sometimes that feels like something's missing. You know what I mean? And that's just, you know, that'll just go away with time, you know?
Right.
But it's
No,
because
it's fine. It's amazing how the brain equates things like that. It's funny because I often brought up the story about not smoking for like 18 years, and we're up the mountains, and we would always go out and light a fire. And she said, "Well, we gotta light a fire," you know. So first thing I went and looked for my cigarettes and lighter to light the fire.
Yeah.
I haven't smoked in
Isn't
years.
that weird?
But my
Yeah.
brain,
Yeah.
Is
Remember that,
automatic,
and
it
just-
goes there.
Exactly.
and it was
That's
like
how
it was just a
deep it was,
reflex
you know?
action. I
Yeah.
go, and I'm laughing. It's just funny. It's like I'm just looking for my cigarettes.
That's so bizarre, right? All them years
So
later.
go light the
you
fire
know?
and have a cigarette, but if I like it, it was
The
Yeah.
other
weird.
day I was in the car and I reached down to grab my cigarettes. And I'm like, it's
that
been
crazy?
like 23,
It's-
24 years
See,
now.
that's another.
like a
that's
really
another
crazy
issue. That's called
flashback.
Alzheimer's disease. That's a whole
That's
different
crazy,
issue.
though.
It's-
You know,
It
it's
is
like
so weird how the brain works. Or when I love Sons of Anarchy, and I will sit there and I'll watch it, and like I can smell the cigarette because that's all they do on that show is smoke, and like, boy, I could really go for a cigarette right now, like only because that it's triggering my
yeah,
mind.
Right, right.
Like
yeah.
it's so bizarre.
I
Yeah,
can
it really
actually. I've
is,
never
you know?
even taken a puff since I quit because I know, like an alcoholic,
Oh, yeah.
I would be right back to smoking. It's my
Yep.
biggest fear. Not even a puff.
No, yeah, you can't.
It's
you
just the
can't.
weirdest
It's
thing.
exactly
you know,
right.
And
it's
I
been
have-
like over
and-
20 years now, and I
Yeah.
still won't even. I would.
It's so bizarre, Pap, you say that because my husband had smoked. He hasn't smoked. I'm married 41 years. He never smoked then, and probably years before that. But I'd say probably about 30 years ago, he had a buddy, and he was smoking, and Jim's like, yeah, give me a drag. Started with a drag. Next thing you know, give me a smoke. Next thing you know, give me a pack. You
Oh,
know
yeah,
what I mean?
that's
He
what-
was like getting hooked, man. I'm like, oh. So then he was able to just stop. But it's just, but like to your point, it's exactly exactly
and,
right.
and your mind, your brain always remembers that. That'll never go away.
No.
Yeah.
Your brain always remembered what it liked and what it craved. Now you can
Mm-hmm.
deal with those cravings through meetings and
Yeah.
things and all, but like you can't trick your brain. We're going to get shirts made. Me and Larry, we're talking about it. You're not smarter than your brain.
Yeah,
And,
Right,
and
about
that's why
that.
so many people they try to exchange one mind-altering substance with another. Well, your brain knows, yeah, this is okay, but this
But it
isn't
ain't
what
it.
I want.
Yeah.
And it ends up leading you back to square one again. So that's why
Yeah.
we abstinence is probably your best bet.
yeah.
But like you're not gonna out trick
Yeah.
your brain. I mean, and it's funny. Like your brain knows like I'm supposed to stop here, and not necessarily be alcohol, but like it's not used to the regimen going right home. There was always
Right,
a stop
exactly.
in
There's
between.
always a
and
stop.
still, it's
Yeah.
like, so what do you got to do? Like stop at Rite Aid and
Yeah, sometimes
pick
I
up some
do.
toenail clippers or
Sometimes
something.
I
You
do.
know what I
I'm
mean?
like,
Just
let
to
me buy
make
a
it stop.
candle. Yeah,
Yeah, a candle.
yeah. Honestly, yeah,
It is.
I like
Because
candles.
you just get
But-
your
but,
brain just
yeah.
knows there's a whole sequence
There
of
is something
events.
missing. Yep.
And
So
the brain
crazy,
is frightening.
you know, but-
It's interesting and it's frightening. That's my favorite part about recovery and addiction is how the brain works, and that's
Yeah.
what really got me on ball with what we do and all now. Because finally, I had something that made sense to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When they start talking about dopamine levels and the brain and how like now it makes sense why people do what they do. I feel there's tangible evidence. You know what I mean? Some,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm an evidence-based guy. That's what I am.
Yeah.
And things started making sense to me. I'm like, yeah, it is a disease.
Yes.
I mean, no doubt in my mind now. I mean, one time I would have said you're crazy. So I don't get angry with people. That'll make me a hypocrite because I was one of the people. But it's just fascinating how the brain, the brain,
Yeah.
it's just a fascinating
It's insane,
organ. Is it an
Yeah.
organ?
And there was times, many times, when I would stop to have a drink before I would go home, and I'm gagging before I'm like opening the bottle, and I'm gagging because I think my brain knew it was about to
It's
happen.
the anticipation,
You know what I mean?
and that's
and
funny
I
you say
had
that.
I had to wait, get it. I didn't never really puke, but if I had to spit, I'd open my, you know what I mean, whatever.
Right.
And then until I was good for, then I'm like, okay, and then get it down. Then I was good. You know what I mean? It's
Like
just,
any other drug, like
crazy.
even a heroin addict, all said, like when they go buy the product, they immediately start feeling relief
Yeah.
because they know they
Yeah.
have it, even though they
Yes,
haven't even
right,
used it
yeah,
yet.
it's not even open yet.
But
You're not even
the
in
brain, the adrenaline, your things all start flowing, and you didn't
Yeah.
even had it yet. And the high's
Yeah,
starting already.
Right.
The
Crazy,
endorphins
yep.
and the dopamine,
Yeah.
your dopamine levels
Yeah,
start going up.
exactly. I remember the state store at Franklin Mills. They were open till 10 o'clock, and the ones near me would close at 9, and I'd be panicking, thinking, I gotta get out of here. How am I going to get out of here? You know what I mean? And I don't even remember now. I would tell my husband, I had to run to the store to get this or that, and I'd be flying up 95. And I'm like, okay, I think I got 5 more minutes to make it. And I get there and it's like, as soon as I walk through that door, it's like, like I made it.
Yeah.
I'm here. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's so bizarre.
Like,
what
hey,
it, do-
I
what it
remember when I
does to you.
smoked, I'd be like, holy Christ, I got a 2-hour drive. I'm a truck driver.
Yeah.
I got like 5 cigarettes. It ain't going to
Yeah,
make
ain't
it.
gonna do
I got to
it,
find
yeah.
someplace that got cigarettes.
so
You know,
you're
next rest
panicking.
stop, you know, because
Yeah.
I'm not going to make it.
You're panicking your own way, you
The
know? It's
same
just
way I
crazy,
come in.
you know?
Isn't this disgusting?
Yeah.
And that's
you
and
know?
that's crazy because like back in the day before they were allowed to stay open on a Sunday or you
yeah,
know
right. Yeah.
or you went into the bar and you were only allowed what 2 6-packs at a time to take out.
But you
couldn't-
can make 10 trips getting
Yeah,
two at a
yeah,
time.
it's
Yeah.
funny, right? I remember
the
that.
same person can make
yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna
How
fill up my
asinine.
trunk, but
I love that.
that the blue law
Yeah,
or black
yeah,
law,
exactly.
whatever. But
Yeah.
and like, it was so bizarre. I shared this last week too, but how bizarre it was that like I lived in California for so long, so you go get gas, a pack of cigarettes, and a 6-pack because it was sold in the gas station everywhere. You go into CVS, it was
Yeah,
there.
That's crazy.
You know,
Yeah.
and I remember my sister and brother-in-law at the time had come out, and I was like, well, we got to get up and get some beer for the weekend. And he's like, well, we have enough, we'll get it tomorrow. I'm like, no, they don't sell it on Sundays.
Right,
Like,
right.
you're not allowed to buy on
Yeah.
what?
That's,
And I'm
it's
like,
crazy,
yeah.
isn't it?
And we get in the car and we go through the drive-through beer distributor, and he's like, wait, you can drive through and they put it in your car? I'm like, yeah.
So funny.
Just, it's
Yeah.
so weird how, you know, like I couldn't imagine somebody that had the disease of alcohol would go without, you know, that day,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
It's-
It
It's got to
was
be.
tough. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you had to. I don't remember too many days that I did go without. You know what I mean? I would try
Right.
to go, go to Jersey because Jersey was always open,
Always
24/7. You know what I mean? So if it was closed, and like I said, in during the pandemic, Pennsylvania
Right.
shut state stores down. But yeah, it was. Things have definitely changed because now even walking in the supermarket, I mean, I can blow right past it because it's always right there.
It's always
and
the
there's
first thing.
I typically can go right past it, and I always need produce, which is right there.
Right.
But there are certainly times that it's just like, oh man. But I don't thank God my obsession has been removed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't say that I don't think about alcohol. I
Right.
mean, I definitely.
But you
but
know
I don't
the
think about drinking.
consequences.
Yeah, exactly.
You know that it'll come with the
Yeah.
consequences.
I couldn't go back. I mean,
Right.
my family would never believe me. You know what I mean? My daughters would never believe me because there was too many times that I'd say, "Oh, I'm sorry." And now, I
Right.
promise I'm going to quit. And my one daughter was his mom. I'm sorry, just don't cut it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a while for her to
Right.
to come around. But
right.
I remember when my one daughter, she was like radar to my alcohol, you know what I mean? And she would find it and she would dump it, and my God, that was horrifying.
I couldn't even
horrifying, you know
I
what I
couldn't
mean?
imagine.
And then that would create like fights, and then and then I'd be drunk already, and spewing stuff at her, and the next day she would text me at work and say do you remember what you said to me last night? And like instantly my heart would sink because I had no clue, And
Right.
she'd go on to tell me, and I'm like, oh my God, like how could I
Right.
talk to my own daughter that way? I mean, the language and just,
Yeah. And it's hard because it comes out. You can't once it's out, you can't take it back.
You can't, and that's where the I'm sorry's don't cut it. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
But yeah.
When I started the show, and I've shared this often, and the kid that I started the show with, he was great, but he said things I must earn.
Yeah, I like that.
And I love that explanation. Like, that slogan is like the one thing that resonates to help me help someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is time. It does take
It
time
does take
for
time,
us to
yeah.
earn back. We, you know, so much hurt has been done, so much pain has, you know, occurred, and you think that you can never get past that,
Exactly. You know.
but it's time.
Yeah,
And-
it is. It does come, but you do have to earn it. You're right, and I do love that saying too. You
Yeah.
know, but it feels great when you get it. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
you know, and you know, my daughters definitely trust me, my husband now. You know, and it's funny because I said to my one daughter about a year ago. I don't remember what happened. I think I was late. She couldn't reach us. It was summertime. My husband and I were actually out front and just hanging out, you know, and my cell phone was on the charger in the house, and she couldn't get hold of me. She couldn't get hold of him, and usually I have the house phone outside, but we didn't have that
Right.
either. So I come in, and there's like 20 texts on my phone. There's the house phones, you know, messages and everything, and she said, where were you guys? So I called her, and I said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Daddy and I were outside. We were just hanging out, so beautiful. And later on, I said to her, Carrie, I said, were you worried, like thinking that I was, you know, out? Because that's the thing would happen. Like,
Right,
you
you
couldn't,
would just
I wouldn't
disappear.
answer, and then Daddy wouldn't answer because he didn't want to hear any shit from anybody.
Right,
You know what I mean?
exactly,
And
exactly.
And you know, she said, no, Mom, that was the furthest thing from my mind. Well, that was like, wow, man, this is,
Yeah.
I'm coming around. It's starting,
Right.
starting
It's
to be good
starting
now,
to-
you know?
Yeah,
But,
it's starting to be nice, and
But I remember when she was younger, though, she used to say to me, you know, why can't you be like my friends' moms? They don't drink. And I'd be like, why can't your friends' moms be like me?
Like, cool,
Yeah,
like,
I'd have
come
some
on.
friends to drink with. You know?
I used to think everybody's mom came home from work, had a big glass of whiskey and seltzer. Like, I thought everybody's mom
Your
drank
mom
after
did?
work.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, my
yeah.
mom. Was a
oh
big
yeah,
drinker.
she was a
And like,
Yeah.
you know, I think everybody went to the liquor store at least once a week, got a big
Yeah.
half-gallon of black velvet.
Right,
Or
right,
whatever,
yeah.
But here, oh my God, they only drink on occasions.
Yeah, it's because my parents were
Oh,
not
really?
alcoholics. My parents, yeah, they always had alcohol in the house. They'd have, like, you know, Riuniti way back in the day.
Yago,
Way back in the day.
Yago Sangria.
Yeah. And
Holds up.
then my dad years later went on. He had like Jack Daniels and stuff like that. But yeah, they weren't. You know, my mom was like a fuzzy navel drinker. You know what I mean? And me, like, why bother? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, you know what I mean? That's the frou-frou drinks. You know. But like I said, I would drink anything if that's all you had. Then I'm drinking it. You
yeah,
know.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah.
it's hard. Like when I was going through some of the classes, and then the support groups, to hear that they're drinking hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
Like
That's like.
like
Man.
so desperate, or rubbing alcohol
Yeah.
just because it's alcohol. Like just
Yeah,
oh my
yeah,
gosh.
it's-
I was
the
hooked
I
on
heard
brain
that.
fluid, but I could stop anytime I wanted.
Oh God. I can't
Larry
do
says
it.
Gallo
Yeah.
Port.
Oh my God. I never. Yeah, I think I might have tasted
Riuniti on
port,
ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
But you know what, Richard's Wild Irish Rose. That was
Oh.
when I
You know,
when I was a teen. That
My
was
very
something,
dear friend.
I don't even know what that is. I think it was whiskey.
It's fortified wine.
Oh, is that what it was? Yeah. Well, it did
It's
the
like
trick.
that high alcohol wine, fortified wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
It's like a rose. I mean, my buddy's brother used to drink. It's very cheap.
uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a kid, so you know.
And,
it was,
He
Probably
would
not
find
cheap,
bottles
but-
of it. His brother's closet.
Yeah.
He probably wouldn't mind. It's Betty. It was Betty Ann's husband's brother,
okay.
and
yeah.
he had a very bad alcohol problem. And that was like
Yeah.
his drink of choice. At the end, he'd sneak him into the house and.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yep.
Larry says, relax, breathe in and out. That was at the beginning when you were nervous.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, wait, am I still looking bad? Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he, something that you shared, he said, don't beat yourself up. What happened, happened. It's over.
Thanks,
So,
Larry. Appreciate it. you
Yes. And, okay, Barb took back what she said, so I won't share.
That's just retracted.
Oh, she's always retracted.
Always retracted. We
Yeah.
already read it.
But she said, I can relate. But,
You know, and drugs were a big part of my story. You know what I mean? It didn't wind up my addiction, you know, but I did drugs for years. And you know, I remember one time finding a bag on the ground and didn't give a shit what it was. Up my nose it went, you know. Now I find it so funny that I'm reading like a cold medicine bottle, like what's
Right,
in that?
right.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? But I didn't give, you know, I didn't care what went
Right.
in my nose, went
Right.
in my mouth. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it's just funny how things, you know,
It is.
they get, you know.
It is. It's crazy. Now, when you went through Livingren, did you on 2016?
Yeah.
Did you get to go into the parent group, or?
I don't think I remember that, honestly, because when you guys talk about that, how it was on one side of the room and the other. So
Uh-huh.
if we did, it didn't stick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't
And-
think so.
and
I
only-
remember being in that what was the hall, Hansel Hall, was
Hansel
it, or
Hall.
Shanahan Hall? I don't
Shanahan
know.
Hall
It was a
is
real
the
old
green one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
Shanahan
remember
Hall.
being in there for something, but I honestly, if it doesn't stick, I don't remember.
Right.
So I don't think so. Kind of, you know.
Yeah.
Were they doing it in 16? It was.
Yeah.
It was August, I think, of 16. Yeah.
Yeah.
See that the date I don't even remember. You know. And
Yeah.
my daughter called me out on that one time, way back when, because she says to me, "What's your sober date?" I was like, "Oh." I don't remember. She said, "Mom, every alcoholic knows their sober date." I said, "Well, I try to forget it." And now I laugh at that because it's like you don't forget your sober
No,
date. You know what I
no.
mean? But because I wasn't sober.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just was
Right.
trying to pull it off back, you know, after I started drinking again, you know.
Right.
But so I don't remember. I don't remember honestly if they
Yeah.
did that family group or not. If
Because
you know.
I mean that is, and it's sad that they don't do it because so many people got help that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Like so many people, you know, to bring somebody in the recovery process in during treatment to come in and be faced with the family, like dun da da da.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, right now because it wasn't what I recall was my husband and my daughters just coming for a counseling session, and it was right before I was going to be leaving. I guess it was, or they wanted to, you know, let my family know how I was doing, but it wasn't like a one side of the, like, you know what I mean? It was just
Yeah.
a one-on-one type thing, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't think that we did have that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a shame they don't have it right now. And I
Yeah,
hope
that
to
would be a-
see that comes back because that is so eye opening for both parts.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you know it's your family, a friend, a relative, to like hear what they're going through and understand where they're coming from,
Yeah.
and then because our loved ones feel that the only one they're hurting is themselves.
Yeah.
Good night, Barb. Hope
Good
you're
night,
well.
Barb.
She
Good
gets
night, our
up-
little barista.
Yeah. She gets up very early,
Yeah.
so I hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you, so I hope you're doing well. Hope you're going to the dance. I didn't get a ticket yet, but you know, it just to hear that, you know, this is what they're going through and this is why, and then you know, hearing like I didn't realize that I did that.
Mm-hmm. And that's true because it is, you know, because you know, you're selfish. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Completely selfish. And I think, like, what am I doing? You know, I mean, I work every day. You know, that's what I'd say. You know, I'm working. You got this, you got that, or whatever. You know, so I drink. You know, but you know, come to find out, you really are hurting. You know, and like I said, even with my daughters, they're adults now. They still have mental scars. I mean, they're clearly living life, but there's things that, you know, and there's things I want to tell you that I'm afraid to hear. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
I'm on my 8th step now, just starting. So now I'm going to have to make amends, which, you know, you've already said sorry, but I have to do it by the book.
Right.
And I'm a little scared because I don't know if I want to know what they're harboring. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm kind of, you know,
Right.
but got to do what you got to do.
Right.
You know? And
If you
yeah.
need tickets, let me know because I have to have the count in by Sunday
What,
unless
tickets to my 8th step?
Yes, if you need to know, we got tickets.
unless you
The
already
ones
got
where it's,
tickets from somebody else. But I hope you are going. I
Reading
hope
Barb's
I see
comments. She goes off on a tangent, but she just gets them comments from Barb up there. Anybody wants to come to our 8th step, we got tickets. So.
Yeah. I want to be the fly on the wall. Should be a good show. Should I
Oh,
bring
my
tissues?
If Barb, you
Oh,
need
man.
a ticket, we know a
Yeah.
guy that knows a guy.
But it is, for our loved ones to hear. And, a lot of times, just seeing that you're doing what
Oh,
you
we're
should
losing
be-
Eric.
No,
Night, Eric.
he's saying goodnight to
Oh, Barb.
Barb.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Eric.
Bye, Eric. Hi, Eric. But it's just seeing that you're doing the right thing, that you're moving forward, and you're doing well. That's all the thanks that I need. So, just seeing that that's what you do, like, is so helpful to the families, because some people really struggle with that.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
some people will never do that step because they know that it could, be a setback for them. And, just keep doing what you need to do.
Yeah.
And, don't dwell on it. It's the past and you've moved forward. And, you have to remember where you came from because you don't want to go back
Right,
there.
exactly. Right. But like you said, you don't have to,
Right.
You know,
You don't have
move
to
on
dwell.
and just,
Right. And that's so important because a lot of people can't do that. A lot of
Yeah.
people sit in that and
Well, sure,
Right.
it's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy for us to sit there and say, but it's hard to push through it. Man,
Yeah.
we realize
Yeah.
that. I mean,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not this recovery is not it's a simple program, but it's certainly not easy.
No, it's not easy,
No.
And it's funny because when I had, I said I have been to rehab twice on this boss, and so I'm so grateful to have a job,
Right.
And so when I was, had my 2 years in December, it was our Christmas party at work, and we just had a little office party or whatever. And so I said to my boss's wife, because obviously she knew, I had been in rehab.
Right.
I said, I have 2 years today, or on the 16th I had. And she said, that's great. I said, yeah. I said, I go to meetings a couple nights a week and stuff like that, And she says, oh, how long do you have to do that for? And I said to her, forever,
The
as
rest
long as
of
I
my
want to stay
life.
sober,
Yeah.
And she just
People
looked
don't
quite
know.
shocked. But you know what? Unless you're in it, you don't know it,
That's right.
Because when I was in rehab, I spoke with the first time I was in rehab, I spoke with the pastor or the priest. He actually just passed away
Right.
recently. But, he said he had like 41 years. And he mentioned he was, going to meetings. And I was so perplexed. I said, you have 41 years and you're still going to meetings, But now I get it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Now
Now I
you
get it. So I have
understand
to allow them not to understand,
You're not
Right.
fixed.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right.
Right.
And
But-
that doesn't mean you have to do, a meeting every single day.
Right. No, I
Um,
don't, yeah.
And you can go on vacation, like,
Mm-hmm.
but that's why you have phone numbers. That's why you have a sponsor. That's why
Yeah.
you stay connected. Because it's when we stop being connected that all that shit comes
Yeah.
in our head. And I
Exactly.
remember going to my first meeting and like, that's their issue. That's their whatever this is. I'm not doing this every day. Like, I'm not gonna be living like that. And hello, here I
Yeah,
am.
right. Yeah.
And
yep.
why? Because, I know that relapse is part of this process. And I know that tomorrow's never promised. But I also know what it's like not knowing where to go, not knowing
Let
how
me
to
just
help.
correct you on something there. You don't feel like it's not a part of the process, but it is. It does happen frequently.
Right.
But that's kind of thing everybody seems to think, it's a part of the process. That's not necessarily true, but it does happen very frequently. But that doesn't mean you have to look forward to a relapse. the
Right,
whole time.
relapse is
Right.
not a
It's-
requirement. Is
Right,
what
it's
what
not
I'm
a
saying.
requirement, but
Right.
it does have a tendency to raise its ugly head.
Right. Yeah.
Frequently,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
You know.
And it's
I
due
mean,
to
I know
not-
some people have been to one rehab and they're done.
right, one
Right,
and done.
yeah.
Look,
Right.
look at Fred. Fred tells his story, and he don't mind me bringing it up. I talk about it. I mean, he's very fortunate, man, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
he was a
Yeah.
very, very heavy drinker, and he got sick
Mm-hmm.
and tired, being sick and tired. Took the bull by the horns, and by the grace of God, he's still sober
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
today. And like, it was one time he didn't
Yeah.
have no DUIs or none of that ugly
Right. Yeah.
stuff to
same.
go along with it
Yeah.
and all it. But it's just
Yeah.
so it is possible. It's not
definitely
doesn't
possible.
happen frequently, but it is possible.
Yeah, even my sponsor, she just had I think like 27 years, you know, and she's a one and doneer, you know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? And a lot of people are, you know, and
Our
you know, I don't
father-in-law,
really, you know, I mean, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
my father-in-law, her father-in-law.
Yeah,
yeah,
my
I
stepfather,
mean,
he-
you know, so many. I mean, I've definitely, would say relapsed because I never was in the program. You know what I
Right.
mean? But I absolutely tried and failed. You know,
Right.
many, many times. And then I was in rehab and then, you know, the detox. But I, once again, did nothing with it. So
Right,
this is, you know,
exactly.
but I'm still not a one and doneer. I'm
Right,
just, you know,
right.
working it now, you know.
And
but
Eric says you get out as much as you put in,
exactly.
and then some. And it's
Yeah.
true.
Yep.
It really
So
is.
it's so true. It is, you know.
And you know, I see a lot in our family group too that, and a very good friend of mine, you know, when I first started going through this, one of the very first meetings I went to, a woman came walking in and she was like, "Oh, my loved one's doing great. Oh, da da da," and I'm like, "Shut the." What are you doing here? Just get out of my face, and this is the very beginning for me. So you have
Right,
to
yeah.
understand that, you know, I'm waiting to hear like everybody should be bawling their eyes out like me, like
Right,
what's
yeah.
going on here, and that was like the first meeting, and then didn't see her for the longest time, and I was just like, oh, I can't stand that chick, man.
I'm so distracted. I feel like you're right each parking lot. I'm gonna run to the kitchen and get one of them donuts. I'm gonna sneak it out. I bring down a powder sugar load in front of me, and they'll all know. They're all gonna know. They're gonna smell it on me, on my
Yeah.
breath.
But then,
I love cream donuts.
but a couple months down the road, I'm getting out of the car to go into my family group meeting, and here comes this friend, and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" She's like, "Not good." relapse." And I'm like, "Oh my God!" Like,
See you later.
but it's just
Yeah.
it's so weird how you stay in it, how compassionate and
Yeah, right.
and helpful, you know, everybody becomes. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, in the beginning, you're just like, not me, not that, you know, and you hear the stories of the relapse, and it's like, well, not mine, like that won't be happening.
Right,
because,
yeah,
We're
you
gonna be
know,
on top of this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Never say
oh.
never, you know what I
Right,
mean? That's the thing.
right.
I mean, I still consider myself new. I mean, I have 2 years. That's tons of time for me. However, I have a lot to learn, long way to go, and
Right.
just keep, I mean, I came in late. You know what I mean? But the thing is, I'm here now.
You're
you
here,
know,
and
and
it doesn't matter when you walk through that door.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
just as long as you keep coming back and you keep helping another.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. You know.
I tell you, it's not chronologically aligned at all. I mean, we have parents in our parent group that have 45-year-old children that are still having a problem with
Yeah.
drugs, and they're still
Yeah.
dealing with it since they were teens.
Yeah,
You
it's
know, so like
crazy,
it
right?
doesn't pick
Yeah.
and choose. It's like it could be any age. I mean,
Well,
it's something you got to address.
my brother, he died about 3 years ago, and he was, I hate to say it, but he was like the black sheep of the family, which probably
Right.
not allowed to use that word anymore either.
Yeah.
But we didn't really, he
we had no alliance with this guest. Sorry. These are strictly her own beliefs and not the beliefs of Living Hopeful. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I disclaimer.
you know, he kind of had problems with everybody, so nobody was really close to him, you know. But we had gotten word that he died, and little by little, we found out that he OD'd. He was like 78 years old, and he had
Wow.
like fentanyl and like 3 other drugs in him. And it was just like, holy shit! I knew he smoked pot, but like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it
Yeah,
was like
about
really
that.
sad, like
You
really
never
sad to
know.
hear. Like, wow, man, just I have no
Well,
idea.
In his defense,
story,
he probably
you
didn't know what he was getting.
Yeah, I would say
Because he's a
most
little
likely.
naive. I mean, back in
Yeah.
the day, you assumed you were getting what you're
Right.
paying for. I might have a little baking soda in it.
Yeah.
Not something that's going to kill you
Yeah.
like fentanyl. Today, it's a whole new
Yeah,
ballgame.
so yeah,
Yeah.
who knows? I
Frightening.
mean, no idea what he thought he was taking or
Right.
anything, you know.
It's
But
frightening.
sad because it's like, you know, there's right there that so much shit on the street, you know.
Yeah, it's
Oh, man,
it's
it's-
scary
it's-
today.
yeah.
It's
It's-
very
Yeah.
scary.
It's Russian roulette. I mean, with any even the marijuana is tainted. You know, we
Yeah.
were saying. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
know
were
someone just had some bad gummies or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
all right, that
That-
was something
is
different.
that is it something different?
That's
Wow.
another story in itself. It was some edibles, but they were
Yeah.
hemp based. All right, and here they had 2 overdoses of people, and they somehow linked these gummies to the fentanyl overdose, and they had the National Guard test these things, and they come up with this equipment that's like off the earth accurate, so sensitive. Like, why they got a bunch of National Guardsmen
Yeah.
testing it? Why didn't the police? And they sent it to a lab and had absolutely no fentanyl in it.
Right.
But this equipment the National Guard was using, this like $10 million spectrograph thing that they really didn't know what the fuck they were doing. And they did. They probably put this company out of business. They're going to be a big class action. It
So
was
what
in
was it
Montgomery
with the
County.
gummies then? Nothing?
There was nothing with them. They can't find anything in them.
False news then.
It was just some
Fake news, whatever they
ultra sensitive equipment they used, and the people got fentanyl somewhere else. It wasn't from this
Oh,
over
I
the
see
counter
what you're saying. Oh,
gummies,
oh,
and
oh.
they in Montgomery County automatically equated it as these gummies being
I
tainted,
gotcha.
and the news, the media runs with it.
Yeah, well,
oh,
yeah,
such
I'm a
and
news
such
watcher.
brand these gummies. Oh, you got fentanyl, and I said this company's probably tanking over these
about
funds. They're
that.
trying to do damage control. So there's going to be a big lawsuit.
Oh, I didn't even
you heard it
realize
first
that.
here. Heard it first here.
And I am
Yeah.
a news watcher, so
Because
it's a
people
lot of fake
get
stuff,
so
you know.
carried away,
And-
just like all these cops dying handling fentanyl. That was all
Yeah.
disclaimed. That was all proven wrong.
Right,
It's not
crazy.
transmitted transdermally that quickly.
No.
That was all bogus.
Wow.
And what is it? Yeah, they overdosed because nobody knew that they were using.
Yeah,
Right,
they had a
exactly,
problem
yeah.
outside.
You know,
Yeah.
they were closet users.
Right.
But
And
it's
and
like,
people just don't understand that.
And they overreacted.
Yeah.
It makes even things more dangerous.
Right.
Oh,
Right. And,
that's a
and-
story for another night. It's
Yeah.
all it's all about her tonight.
It's the month of the woman.
And the
Let's be
woman.
gentle.
Month of the
Let's
woman.
be gentle.
The room is brewing with
Gentle and
estrogen,
kind.
and I am identifying as a woman tonight. There.
But it is. It's, you know, we just have to remember that, you know, our recovery is just as selfish and self-centered as our addiction. Because it has to be.
I was just gonna say it has to be.
It
you know
has
what I
to
mean?
be.
I used to be so worried about, you know, how much alcohol I had or where I was going to, you know, get the drink or whatever. Now I worry about like, okay, Monday night I have to do this, Tuesday night I have to, you know what I mean? Like I have a
Yes.
whole different
And-
program
and
now,
s-
you know?
And squeeze any kind of, you know, recovery into your everyday life.
Yeah.
And you know it's different, but and you know some people you know get into a relationship and they're both using, they're both, you know, doing their thing, and you know they met during their addiction and they go through their addiction and then they get well and they realize that they can't stand each
Yeah,
other.
I hear that. Yeah.
And I'm so blown away by that. Like I only like you when we're high.
Right. It's
Like
crazy,
it's
right?
so crazy.
Yeah.
And,
And-
only because that's how they met. They met
Right.
during their addiction,
Yeah.
and it's crazy.
Even I met my husband and we were at a party and we were, you know, drinking and doing drugs. We did that for years, and he could stop. You know what I mean? I just couldn't, you know, and
Right.
you know,
You know,
Just-
some of us have the addicted brain, some of
Yeah,
us don't.
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
me and Lori
Yeah.
met at a buffet, and that was the only thing we had in common for years.
Now
that
you
we
just can't stop
Yeah.
eating.
now we don't eat. We have
Yeah.
nothing in common. So.
Yeah.
But you know, I just saw a line recently. It said, "I had to quit drinking because I couldn't quit drinking." You know what I mean?
I
and
love
it's just
that,
like, wow,
yeah.
I'm like, wow. Think about that one.
Yeah.
You
How
know?
about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
But-
crazy.
That'll go on our shirt. Larry, what do you think? We're gonna put that on the
Yeah.
shirt too, Larry.
I have something I'm going to read at the end. I'm looking
Okay.
at my clock.
And
I got
it's
the time. And remember, the lines are open. If somebody wants to call in and weigh in on something, on the number's 267-737-8031. If you want to ask Christine a question or you got a question, feel free to call in. The lines are open.
we have 18 minutes left, guys. So if you have a question for Christine, or you just want to share something, or you need to get something off your chest, please, as long as it's not about me. Call in. Don't be mean to me. But if you want to read that, you can.
All right, I'll read it now. So, I came across this and I love it, and it's just so true, you know. No one changes unless they want to. Not if you beg them, not if you shame them, not if you use reason, emotion, or tough love. There's only one thing that makes someone change, their own realization that they need to do it. And like that's the same thing, like nothing changes if
Changes.
nothing
Yep.
changes.
That's
you know what
my
I mean?
thing.
And it's
That's
like
my.
you
that's
know,
my.
I mean, you know, you can force people to do this, that, and the other thing. You know what I mean? I went to rehab 2 times before the third time because I felt like I needed to. You know, and even the third time I went because I went to, but something different happened, and I just knew I couldn't live the way I was doing. You know. Just drinking and driving constantly. Even when my kids were little, like I'm just so fortunate that I didn't, you know, get into an accident with my kids, or even, you know, as up till just a couple years ago before I got sober, I'm drinking and driving. I'm just so fortunate
Right.
that nothing happened. I also, you know, didn't have DUIs. I did get stopped once by a cop, and I was drunk. I don't know how I didn't get, but regardless, just, you know.
Did you show me your boobs?
Damn it, Laura! You said you wouldn't tell.
I tried that. It only got me in more trouble.
Was it the left one or the right one?
I just started jiggling like this.
But yeah, I mean, but you know, I say fortunate. Maybe it was unfortunate that I didn't, you know. But now, you know,
And
but
that is the thing, like your consequences.
Right,
You know, some people can get pulled over and get their DUI and do a little bit of time, and that be their aha moment.
yeah,
Yeah, when I was younger, the guy taught me that when you go to get your picture taken for your license, you go in shit-faced drunk. Get your picture taken, so this way you get pulled over. The guy's like,
You
oh,
look
he
just
looks like
like
that all the
yourself.
time.
Oh,
All right, have a
man.
nice day, sir. Be safe. Just a little levity,
Actually,
a little
pretty-
levity. Relax
pretty
out
funny,
there.
Pretty funny, yeah,
Yeah.
you know. But
We're not all
there-
doom and gloom on the show. Remember, a little levity. We have fun too.
Yeah.
yeah, just
Yeah, and you know, sometimes it does take, you know, the law stepping in to get you where you need to be. Sometimes it can be a loved one that, you know, puts their foot down and says, listen, enough is enough. I can't do this anymore. I can't watch you killing yourself anymore. So
stomach's ground.
they,
But in the end,
You
it
know.
has to be you to make the
Yeah,
decision
exactly,
for it to
exactly.
work.
You
Like
know?
you said, you
Yeah.
can't make somebody do something. It doesn't work. It really
Yeah,
doesn't.
it has to be you. You
and
know?
so many
And
people
it's-
say, I can't do it. I tried the 12 steps. But did you? Like,
Right.
you may have gone into treatment and it may have been a 12-step treatment, but did you do the work? Did you, you know, go in with an open mind and, you know, a kind heart and really take the suggestions and take, you know, what it was that you needed from that?
Oh, thanks. I got to drive. But
Well, wait for it.
Larry's brought that point up himself. Like, and Larry don't want to talk, but he said it right on the show. But like, the first time he went, he did it for all the wrong reasons. He didn't do it for himself. He did it for everybody else to get
Right.
off his back. And he didn't take it seriously. He didn't do the work, and it got him absolutely nowhere. Really.
Right.
Exactly right.
And the second
Exactly
time
right.
he was more headstrong. He did it for other reasons, and he made it work. And he's living a life now he didn't think
Yeah.
was possible.
Right.
So
That's a
true.
great story.
You know, it really is.
And he.
Because you give up on yourself too. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're like, this is just the way I'm going to be. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know. But, and you just got to get that aha moment, that epiphany of being sick and tired of being sick and
Yeah,
tired.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
know
you
what I
got to
mean?
push, and it's hard. I
Yeah,
mean,
it is hard.
especially at that first push.
Every single morning I'd wake up so sick and I'd be like, that's it, I'm effing done. I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. And every single night I'm in line at the store buying,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's
It's a
just,
vicious
I
cycle.
couldn't, and I really wanted to stop.
And you
I
know what?
really
Your
did.
your story sounds so much like a heroin addict, and it really made me realize more. Not that I didn't realize, but it's an addiction. An addiction, no matter what your addiction is. I mean, you're working your scheme on how to get through your day and to get
Yeah.
your alcohol, just like a heroin addict. They got their
My
the
next
whole
fix,
thing on
you
like
know?
how they're going to get the money to get what they need to get through the day, and they're planning this all out ahead. I mean, that's like, and
Yeah,
it's just
it
that
is.
whole cycle.
It's
Like,
a lot of work.
I gotta
It's a
need
lot
some
of
in the
work.
morning, you know.
Right. But
Yeah.
you have to want, like, it is a lot of work, and you have to want it. You have to take the suggestions.
No, I mean it's a lot of work with having the addiction, like trying to get
It
the next.
is.
I mean,
yeah.
just like the dealers putting the samples out, they put samples out down in Kensington to get you through the day, so you go out and get your hustle on your money, come back and buy more. I'm surprised the liquor stores ain't giving out samples.
Yeah.
I mean, they're peddling a. It
Yeah.
sounds silly, but in the sense,
Yeah.
they're
Don't give
peddling.
them
Yeah.
any ideas.
Yeah.
But
That's
but
funny.
it is because
Vodka testing at 8:00.
Yeah, yeah.
Wine and spirits.
because you hear the stories of like, how do I use this now, how do I get money to get more, and you know,
We have a caller. So excited.
We have a
I'm getting the full
caller.
effect of the whole thing here.
Thank you for calling, caller. Hello. Hello,
hello
caller.
caller.
Well, I want to get 2 mosh pit tickets and a meet and greet before the show when they started in.
A backstage pass.
Yes.
The VIP pass.
You want me to sign your
Great.
tramp stamp? I'll DJ Pappy P. I'll put it right on your back.
Great. You can find my green card too later on.
What's going on, Larry? How are you?
Hello. Oh, I'm doing fine. Just holding along as usual. The same for being over. She already did a good job.
Oh,
Didn't
thanks.
she was a natural.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You just see the sweat on the floor now. It's like, I got to get the wet vac out. Dude. Perspiring.
Like I said, this is all kickback. It's not,
Yeah,
it's,
it is. It's relaxing.
Yeah, you kind of forget that there's people out
Yeah,
there.
time
So,
goes
aspi-
quick,
so
too. I
inspire
was
us,
worried about
Larry.
that.
What's going on? What do you got? What do you got? Give us something good.
Oh, okay. I went to a concert the other night and I saw John Lodge used to play bass for the Moody Blues, and that was a great show. He did a
Yeah,
lot of old Moody Blues stuff. He played the entire Days of Future Past album. And on a high note, too, I went to the urologist yesterday, and he grabbed me by the knee and told me to cough, and then hit me in the nuts with a hammer. But, other than that...
How's your stream, Larry?
I,
My food's fine. It's just the gonads that are killing me now.
yeah. Well, I went to for a checkup the other week myself, and the doctor says, Pat, you got to stop masturbating. I said, why? What is it, doc? He goes, well, I'm trying to examine you.
Oh my God.
All right, there you go. Just show that right off the rails.
yeah,
Yeah.
right off.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
look who called. Yeah. Yeah. I'm good for that. And the old finger up to you know where,
Oh
Vaseline.
man.
He says, yeah. I said, can you go a little deeper? I need a second opinion. But,
So,
Oh
how
God.
was your day today, Larry?
Oh man. Too much. I'm glad you got that off your chest.
chest. I wish there was much just my chest.
Ain't no sugarcoating with Larry.
Yeah.
So when you're at the concert, all kidding aside, I mean, you listen to all that old music, and you reminisce about old times in your head. Come on,
Yeah.
you didn't think about, what I like to twist up a fatty, listen to the Moody Blues music, not that you would, but, you know what I mean? It's a trigger. for a lot of
Well,
people.
the crowd there was more like, I don't know if they would drink, I don't think they'd be drinking is Geritol.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
That's so funny because my husband went to see, I think it was Deep Purple. He went to Parks a couple weeks ago. And I said, how is the crowd? He's pretty much my age and older. You know what I mean?
Oh
But-
my
but he
gosh.
said they were, he said they were great.
We went to 2 Kiss concerts, and it like the whole Kiss army skipped a generation. It was the grandparents with the grandchildren, all in
Oh, it's
Kiss makeup,
funny.
and I was like this like 70-year-old guy in Kiss makeup on with his grandchildren. Like, oh my God,
With
is
his
that gonna be
watch.
us, honey?
Yeah.
Is that gonna be us?
Oh
Like,
my
oh
gosh.
my God.
I bet that looked good, didn't it?
Yeah, it was good.
Funny.
So good. We had to go again. We went to 2 Kiss concerts,
Yeah,
and not that I'm
Yeah.
a big Kiss fan, but I just love the show. They're great showmen.
they are.
Yeah,
good.
never
Gene
never
Simmons,
seen
Paul
Kiss.
Stanley. I mean,
No.
they put on a great show.
Yeah,
But that
this
that-
is their last go round. They're
I was just gonna say,
retiring.
they still around. Wow.
Yeah, they're.
Yeah, how
this
many
is-
times you heard that? Motley Crue retired 3 times already.
Yeah,
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 yeah, they're coming back, yeah.
yep.
yeah, it's the prostate tour. I think they're
With a lack
yeah,
thereof.
that's what
Yeah.
they're calling it. It's
Yeah.
going to be their last tour because they can't get through a whole song without having to pee again.
Yeah.
2 fingers in a lube tour. Yeah.
Yes, we've gone a little bit
All
That
crazy.
right.
sounds kind of good. Oh,
For all
Oh
our
my
new
God.
viewers out there, it's
Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
Robert
this is a
Blake.
rarity.
Yeah, Robert Blake just died.
Yeah.
Beretta.
Yes, he did.
Ashley's
Oh,
like,
Beretta.
who's that? I'm like, oh, shut up.
Did you say you don't know?
The
who?
Washington
Oh, yeah,
College
White
from
Parrot.
that band.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
Ashley, my.
Oh,
like-
yeah, yeah. The,
Oh, believe me,
yeah,
I know
well,
all
yeah, I
that
don't
stuff
think my
all
kids
too
know
well.
who he was either,
No.
you know?
I'm like, really? We need to
Yeah.
get to watch, what channel is that? The, old shows.
Me
Don't
TV,
forget we have a
Me
caller
TV, I
on.
know,
Me
but he's
TV.
not. But he's not on because I watch Me TV.
Don't worry, Larry, I'm still
Nights
with
of
you here.
Old Perry Mason and all.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to cut out anyway. Maybe somebody else will want to call.
Yes.
After I just
All
right.
The lines have been quiet.
Show it out of the water.
And
Yeah.
we
Glad
and
you
we
called
will,
in, Larry.
And
and
since
we'll
you-
be seeing
Yeah.
Larry on.
Christine
Yeah.
did a good job. Did a good job.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep, Larry will be back on again for all you Russian brides out there to tune in. I mean, please don't tie up the airways till Larry's here.
Yeah,
And
rumpled. Yeah.
we'll see
Nice,
Larry.
nice Russian woman.
Yeah.
Russian woman can pull a plow. Okay.
We'll
See
see.
you later. Have a good night.
We're gonna
All right,
see
see ya,
Larry
Larry. See you
April
soon.
28th.
Goodness
See
gracious.
you, buddy.
Night, Larry.
Well, that was
Oh
a good
my
friend of the
God.
show, Larry.
Yes.
Always
Yeah,
nice. He
he's
called,
funny.
checks
He's
in with
a
us.
great guy.
Yep, he's looking forward to the dance as well.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody get your dance card out because he really likes to dance. And I'm usually
I think
running
I promised
around.
him one.
Yeah. And Jackson, she's got her dress. She's ready to go.
Awesome.
She's like, Gigi, I need to find shoes. I'm
She's
like,
so
well, let's
funny.
hope the shoes that you have last
Yeah.
dance fit
My
you.
5-year-old granddaughter, she had a facial mask on last night there. Her and her mother were doing
Too
a
much.
facial
She
mask.
is all girl.
Said to class,
She
oh my
is-
God, it knocked like, you look like you're 4. It knocked a year off you, that mask.
That's too funny. Well, it is Women's Month.
It
you know,
is
so-
woman's
That's
Yeah.
Women's Month,
Yeah.
that's it.
She is. She's awesome. She is all girl.
She's grown up quick.
And just a little bit of boy in her. Like she's
Yeah.
just she loves her girly dresses. She likes she's like, oh, will you paint my nails? I'm like, yeah. So what? You can pick it off. I'll sit there, file them and buff them and all that stuff. Put the paint on, get fingernail polish on, put the top layer. So it's over an hour I'm on her nails. And within the half an hour that they're dry, she's got them all peeled off. I'm like,
God, that's too funny.
And we talk about everything on this show, recovery,
yes,
Yeah.
childhood beauty treatments.
yes.
You know, you're talking about rolling up a fatty, right? That reminds me of, man, I was the worst at rolling joints.
Oh, there we go. There we go. It's
I
going
looked
all
like a
around.
Tootsie Roll at the end. Big in the middle, big papers off the side, twisted out. I could not roll a joint to
But
save
she never
my life.
inhaled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy how things have changed over the years.
Especially, I brought this up before, especially around drugs. I mean, drugs have become so mainstream and acceptable now. I mean, and where, like you say, certain drugs like heroin was always taboo when we were young. I mean, people were doing it, but they kept to themselves. They were like a subculture, for lack of a better
Yeah.
term. They kept to themselves. It wasn't like something you share. Hey, you want to share some of this?
Yeah.
You knew they were into it, but they just kind of kept to themselves about it. Whereas
Right.
today it's 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 pretty mainstream.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
is,
it's
yeah.
like anything
Larry
goes.
rolled them one-handed.
You were up there with the best of them, yeah. But yeah, it's one drug I never
Because he
did
had a
try.
beer in each hand, he couldn't roll one.
I didn't come, I mean, I did a lot of stuff, but that's one I didn't do, and it wasn't for not wanting to. It just never came in my circle. You know what I
Right.
mean? I didn't
Exactly,
know, I didn't
exactly.
know anyone that was doing it, I guess. Otherwise, I may well have tried. I don't know.
You're
I have
absolutely
no
right.
idea,
I mean, that's why I said they kind of, you knew they were there, but they kind of kept to themselves, and
Yeah.
that was for the hardcore people.
Yeah.
We're just partiers. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like we're
yeah,
not
it was
that
different
hardcore
back then,
people.
for sure, yeah.
I mean, everything else goes, but not that.
Yeah, it's crazy how.
Now I don't think there's any such thing as a hardcore person anymore.
Right?
Out
Yeah.
there in the party world, like,
No,
it's
because
become so socially acceptable now because everybody gets so into painkillers. I mean, they became so prominent.
yeah.
I
Well,
mean-
the weirdest thing is the rainbow part, whatever where everybody just raided mom's, cabinets
Medicine
and
cabinet.
they put it in a bowl and you would just take a handful and you never knew what you
Oh,
were
yeah.
taking.
I
Like,
didn't hit that party.
oh my God, like
Yeah,
that.
you were pouring the whole liquor cabinet into one glass. I can't care what it was.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I can't even remember how long ago, but I was just like, oh my gosh, like these people are and they're young kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're just pouring it in, and that's when they got really big on the, make sure that you're not, not putting your pills out, and now it's like, make sure you're locking up your medications
Yeah.
because when, the plumber comes in to fix the sink
my
in
The
the
sink. I'm the
Right.
plumber. I'm here to
They're-
fix the sink.
they're
Yeah.
they're clearing it out. So, be careful out there.
Yeah.
Get your meds and lock them up because you never know.
Yeah. No, when I was I guess 12 or 13, the same girlfriend whose liquor cabinet we were raiding, we were taking some of her dad's pills too. We didn't know what the hell they were. One was Valium. There was something called Persentine. Came to find out years later it's a heart pill.
They would-
So we were taking heart
Valium
pills
and
and
Percodines
Valium,
and before
and
Percocets and
Yeah.
Valium
Just,
was really
you know,
big back
yeah,
in the
Valium
70s.
was, yeah. But,
Viagra.
I really didn't heard of. And then
Yeah.
you had your Quaaludes.
Oh yeah.
Thanks
They were
for
real big
joining
through the
us,
70s
Judy.
and the beginning of the
Booze,
80s.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was 714s and it went to lemons.
Yeah,
You know,
Wars and
yeah,
what the lemon.
Yes.
I read all this in history books.
Yeah,
That's how I know
yeah.
about all this stuff there.
All right,
Right.
guys. It
What
is
is it,
10:30. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for
it
coming
Flew by.
and being
You know,
on
we
the
could
show.
have run another 2 hours.
And if you guys have any questions and want to throw it into a message to me, let me know. I will make sure Christine gets the information and put you in contact with her if she chooses to.
Absolutely.
So everybody have a great night. I will see you next week. We will have Barbara Kay back on the show. And
great.
she is. She's funny
Yeah.
as hell. So she'll be back and
What?
we will
Is
see
that somebody
you
coming in under the wire?
Yes.
We can make an exception. Hello, caller. How are you?
Hello, caller.
Pretty good. I was just wondering when exactly it was that Lori rolled joints with one hand.
That's
That's
Larry.
That's Larry.
Oh,
Larry,
Lori.
you goofball.
You got to read the comments. Are you high?
Who is that?
Oh, that's
Your
not
sister.
See, that's what marijuana does to you.
I
See
thought
that?
Lori said she did.
No.
No, it's up in the comments.
Yes.
Larry said he would roll them one-handed.
You did a great job, Christine. You really did. You
That-
didn't seem nervous at all. I thought you did an excellent job.
Thank you so much. I
Good job,
appreciate
good job.
that. I appreciate that.
and that is California. She's
You're welcome.
We got California on there. We
Yeah,
had Vegas on there
nice,
earlier.
nice.
We haven't heard from you, Vegas, all night, but I hope you still
yeah,
are tuned in.
and her canal
Anyway, it was a great
is
show.
rising right now. So
Well, thank you for calling in, dear.
and good luck and be
Yeah,
safe.
stay
out
safe
there.
out there.
Stay
Lori was
safe.
saying you're
Out in the
near the-
snowdrifts.
Yeah, right.
Yes. All right. Well.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a lot of water.
Yes.
A lot of water.
Well, thanks for calling in, and
Yeah.
you have a great night.
Yeah.
Take care.
Love
You
you.
too. I'll
Ciao.
talk to you later.
All righty.
Bye.
Love you too.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, a nice last minute caller.
Yes. All right, guys. We will see you here next Friday with Barb K in the house.
Okay, oh my gosh. Your side's going to be hurting. She's a pip.
Yeah, she is. I love her. And you have through till tomorrow morning. No, Sunday morning to call me for tickets for the dance.
Tickets.
Once Saturday's over, that's it. So give me a call for tickets.
Well, they're gone. They're
gone. And we're almost out of them. So if you want to go, you better get them now. So with that being said, everybody
being
have
said-
a great week. We will see you here
Everybody
next
be
Friday.
safe and remember, recovery works if you work it.
Let's
Peace
get
out,
another day.
everybody.
Woo-hoo.
Yep, every day. Peace out, everybody.
Have a great night. Love
ya.
yous all. See ya.
Drive alone on a road that no one knows. I used to run from the things that couldn't change. It's been a while since I let it bring me down. And lately I've been taking myself out. I'm letting go of who I used to be. Wave goodbye to all the memories. I nod my head and turn my back to the world. And just let this life take me